Happy to have Amir up here to share Shifamed's story. Go ahead, Amir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Neda, for inviting me to this really wonderful forum and conversation with everybody. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight, at least on what we're doing and certainly observations we've seen in our experience in our portfolio. So we're a venture studio. We start medical device companies. We initiate the ideas. We fund the companies. We raise money from VCs. And ultimately, we aim to transact, sell those companies to the large medical device corporations. So the first thing I want to start with is the medical device industry is ongoing serious transformation. And I would say some of the traditional devices today, I couldn't fund or raise money for to move them forward. The more traditional, larger clinical studies requiring a lot of money and a lot of time, I don't think a lot of investors have the patience for. And things have changed because the strategics are not buying early like they used to. If they do, it's on rare occasions and very unique sort of circumstances. So historically, you'd be able to take a device in a patient, treat 3, 4, 5 patients, okay, maybe 50 sometimes, but you could transact, and the strategics would buy these companies and keep developing the product. And then eventually commercialize them or not. If things don't work out, they can shut them down. That's no longer possible today. The strategics are acquiring much later than they used to, and they're acquiring much closer to commercialization, which really needs a reconsidering of what could be invested in and what you could essentially move forward with. And this is largely sort of coinciding with COVID, higher interest rates. They just don't want that spending to come from the P&L. So this is sort of an obvious, where do you go from here? The obvious answer is, agentic solutions, AI, machine learning, robotics, and so forth. But why? The answer in my mind, besides the fact that the obvious performance and capabilities that couldn't be done before, the other part of it, which is really about the basics, financings and so forth, there's actually a lower clinical burden with agentic and robotic solutions. You usually don't have to do a randomized study for a robot. The robot is really substituting or improving or enhancing a procedure that has already been approved, already been demonstrated to work. So the foundation is still the traditional stuff, and the robotic is really just scaling it, improving the quality, consistency, and so forth. And so the other part of how do you solve problems when you try to raise a lot of money and you have to go for a long period of time is really ally yourself with strategics earlier. And so we're seeing more of these deals, and we're pursuing a lot of those kinds of deals ourselves. So I'm going to give you just 3 examples of things we're doing relative to this new dynamic. I'm going to walk you through 3 of our companies: Akura Medical, Laza Medical, and Leo. So Akura Medical is a thrombectomy system and removes blood clot from the lungs and other places around the body, but our focus right now is around pulmonary embolism. Very interesting procedure because, pulmonary embolism is the 3rd leading cause of death. So it's a serious problem. The growth of this procedure, because of improved technology in catheters, has been dramatic. It's growing about 20% a year, and very compelling. The challenge is there's so many people who thought, oh, this is a great idea, we'll do it too. So did we. And then, as people come out of the secret mode, all of a sudden you realize, oh, we thought we were the only ones. All the other companies got bought. And you look around, there's like 6, 7, 8 new companies plus. So how do you manage? How do you deal with that? Our product was differentiated. We were pretty excited about it. But it doesn't matter how exciting it is if there's 6 or 7 other competitors coming in the market about the same time. Super challenging. So what do? Of course, the solution is you got to do something that nobody else has done. And it turns out the interventional proceduralists, interventional cardiologists, interventional radiologists, the vascular surgeons, they actually don't know what they're looking at. It's really hard to differentiate and understand where you are in this kind of a procedure. It's super difficult, and the physicians are really good who've done it a long time. They have a sense for it. But a new person treating a patient who hasn't had that many years of experience, it's super difficult, and these patients are on a sort of a dangerous sort of a track. They could easily die while you're treating them. So what we've decided to do is find ways to make them sort of visualize what's going on. And of course, AI is the solution. So we've decided to establish the first of its category, a visualization tool, leveraging techniques and stuff that we've seen and heard earlier today. But our focus is not really on diagnostic, not so much. More so on actually helping the physicians during the procedure. Not so much the diagnostic, but more guidance. Pre-planning is part of it, but guidance during the procedure and additional things that you could get from sensors and catheters that we're building that integrate with the software to really change the outcome. Give you a quick sort of overview of what we're talking about. What you're seeing here is a reconstruction of the lung arteries and showing you the clot, its location, and the size and so forth. This is something that the physicians today don't have, surprisingly. It's not necessarily incredibly hard, but really the cool thing about AI and so forth is identifying these use cases that people haven't thought about before. And because we were struggling, trying to figure out what to do, we identified this. And when we're showing this to the physicians, they really get excited about it. And it overshadows the catheter that we think is really cool. And so now you can use it during the procedure, but you can also advance the science, understand what you've done before, during, and after the procedure. So it's really compelling, and the future is bright. And because of this ability and the luck that we encountered in identifying the solution, it really allowed us to raise money. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to raise the money, and I think the company would have been in serious trouble. So this, to me, is sort of an example of how AI came to the rescue in a traditional catheter-based, sort of a very mechanical product and procedure. So now I'm going to walk you through another example. And this one is not so much about finding the solution, because from the beginning, this company is really about AI. It's about helping physicians do the procedure again, but it's really about robotic ultrasound. Ultrasound is a difficult to interpret imaging, especially during a case when you're treating somebody's heart. These procedures are tedious and they require a lot of skill. So this is an image of a standard procedure that would take place today. The lady who's holding the probe there right next to the C-arm is the interventional echocardiologist. So this person has gone through cardiology training, got the echo training, so like number of degrees and so forth. And as we heard earlier, these people, there's just less of them. This person, she has to hold the probe throughout the procedure. And if it's a long procedure, it could take 3 hours. It's exhausting, boring, gruesome. And by the way, she's being exposed to the x-ray from the C-arm and get health affected. And guess what, how much she gets paid? $215 for 3 hours. If she does anything else normal in her practice, she would be generating 10 times more just by reading echoes and doing other kinds of procedures as opposed to just holding it. So it's a problem of throughput. The physician who's doing the procedure, who's to our back, has to work with his favorite and very skilled echocardiologist. And when they don't have that pair, that working relationship between each other, they can't do the procedure. And there's so many less of them than there is interventional cardiologists. So it's a bottleneck. Patients are not being treated, and the volume is increasing dramatically. So what we've done is come up with an automated version of what they would do. That same physician would put the probe in. They would inspect and verify that all views are okay. And then the robot actually can take over. It can be, the patient could be monitored from the control room or remotely from somewhere else. You can have multiple patients being monitored. But most importantly, we've enabled the interventional cardiologist to do the full treatment in a cost-effective, speedy manner, where the quality of the image is consistent, repeatable, and so forth. And that's really exciting. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is this was AI from the beginning. This product, this procedure couldn't have been done without the advancement that we've seen in the recent past. But the challenge is really, how do you fund these things? Just a view of what the stuff looks like, and the 3D reconstruction, which is the software, is really the biggest thing. So quickly, how do we fund it? What we did is we identified large corporate and developed a relationship with them, and then we're really working on an earlier sort of build-to-buy structured financing to fund the company from beginning all the way to the end. And that was really the approach that we're taking for this company. Now, I want to really quickly talk about, super fast here, about one more thing that's really near and dear to my heart. AI and large language models are not just important for the product that we use and for patients and physicians, but it's actually really important in the development process. What we're doing today in developing medical devices are still mostly using very obsolete tools. Most companies are struggling with these things, and our product and our solution is really a traditional system, cloud-based, but it allows us to accelerate and match what others can do. We have an AI strategy, but the foundation is really about quality, manufacturing, and procurement, all of that. It's sort of the Oracle for medical devices on a smaller scale. So we have a sort of a two-pronged approach. There's a large language model built into it, but there's the agentic solution that is really allowing us to move forward and do specific things without hallucinations, where you build the AI within the system and within the application, so that you have various agents that are very specific. They do one task and they do it very well. You can validate them, and then you can add one after the other and then string them along. So that's kind of where we're going with the solution, and we're just getting started with commercialization for this product. So I want to say thank you very much for the organizers, and I appreciate the time.